happy December. Books have a special way of connecting us with one another. They can even transport us to a place, certain people and points in our lives. And as I always associate this time of year with spending quality time with our friends and family, I reached out to my loved ones to see what their favorite books are, and I wanted to share them with you today. There are even a few on this list that I've never read before, and I thought it would be so wonderful to have this as a reading project to do in the new year. So let's start with my parents. My mom's favorite book is The Four Agreements, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is a practical guide to personal freedom, a Toltec wisdom book, and I'm so pleased that she chose one of our book club books. She quotes from this all the time, and if there is a book that I associate with Mom, it's this one. So she had this to say about it. Just so inspiring, and I feel that it summarized some experiences and ways to handle difficult moments in life. I feel that anyone who reads it will come away with some invaluable advice. And then for my dad, he said that he enjoys all of the books written by Louis L'Amour. These are westerns that I've never read, and he said that I enjoy his characters who have a strong moral compass as well as the historical aspect. So I look forward to reading some Louis L'Amour next year. And then my mother-in-law, Carol, she wrote, when we were little during World War II, my mom would set electric candles in the windows for her brothers fighting in Europe and Pearl Harbor. These could only be lit during the day because of the blackout. We had a tin plate electric train that ran around the Christmas tree. It was called Marks, which perhaps influenced us kids into adulthood. There was also a creche from which I would place the dear donkey in the manger and the baby Jesus in the coal car. Our mom gave a prize to whoever memorized The Night Before Christmas and set a place at the table for the stranger who might come to the door. Bobby, this is her younger sister, had trouble learning to read, so we read to her a lot. One favorite, especially in winter, was The Tough Winter by Robert Lawson, and in later years, our whole family enjoyed Eloise at Christmas by K. Thompson, illustrated by Hilary Knight. This is a very dear book, and I'll have to look for The Tough Winter to read. My mom's older sister, my Auntie Shirley, said that the books we always read, including Your Lolo and Lola, those are my grandparents in the Philippines, were always about food. Well, I definitely inherited that. Your aunties and I were interested in recipes. We also enjoyed reading about our national heroes and learning all about their lives. We also always read comic books. We enjoyed stories about love and comedy and even some horror. Carol's older sister said, I reread Mistress Masham's Repose at least once a year, often around this time of year. This is a hysterical book about an orphan, Maria, who is really not well taken care of. There's an evil governess and vicar, and she's to inherit her family's estate, and she comes across some Lilliputians, and she has this to say about Mistress Masham's Repose. My copy was given to me by my mom when I was around 8 or so, influenced my whole life. Down with tyrants! The Christmas book we always, and I still do read, is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. I think this one's illustrated as well. Here we go. This is a lovely one about a outrageous family who rediscover the meaning of Christmas when the church has to put on a Christmas pageant. This is one I love to reread as well. Another aunt chose A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote as a season favorite. And oh gosh, this is just a treasure of a story and I love it too. She'll have to link, which I'll leave down below if you want to read it as well. Then my sister chose Klara and the Sun as her favorite book, and she wrote, I liked how Kazuo Ishiguro creates a space to explore your own thoughts and feelings about the themes in the book. He tells you just enough and allows your imagination to fill in the rest. He is never suggestive with his writing. Everything is left open to interpretation. I remember in our book club discussion, all of us remembered and interpreted events and other things from the book differently. It was fun hearing about everyone's perspective. I do remember that discussion and it really was a lot of fun. Each of us interpreted the ending differently. So if you've read this book, let me know what you thought of the finale. And then my nieces are at this phase of really loving the Junie B. Jones books. When I last visited them, they were telling me how they read these together in class and it leaves everyone, including their teachers, in hysterics, which I think is so wonderful. One of my cousins wrote that some of her favorites right now are Things We Never Get Over and It Ends With Us, which I think are suspense thrillers. Those are some that I might have to read next year. And then she goes on to say, but I think nothing beats Jane Eyre, which is a book you gave me. I love how it really shows what a classic novel feels like, from the writing, the emotions, the depth of the characters. There's something timeless about it. Yeah, Jane Eyre is a favorite of mine too. Longtime friend of mine, she really loves Tolstoy's War and Peace, as well as Arc de Triomphe by Erich Maria Remarque. And another dear friend of ours said that his favorite book is Anathem by Neal Stephenson. He said it's a fairly heavy read, as many of Stephenson's works are, and I like it because there's a comforting amount of math and science supporting the entertaining fictional narrative. And then on to my partner. He loves Hogfather, and he said it's because all the characters in Pratchett's stories are wacky, and he also really enjoys all the Expanse books by James S.A. Corey, and he said he really loves sci-fi that doesn't involve aliens, which is a trope that he doesn't really enjoy, and there are apparently some really fun space Cajuns that just add to the experience of these novels. So those are a few favorites of my loved ones. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.